Welcome back to the channel, guys. You would not believe it. Sunny England. Going to go for a quick dive today. This is actually the third dive I've had since lockdown. Haven't had much luck on the first two, so hopefully today is going to be a little bit better. The visibility's been really rubbish where I am. Haven't been able to travel to Cornwall and Devon where the visibility is really good. But Sussex, please produce for me today. Just a quick little short dive today. I only need the small float, don't need anything crazy. Despite it being sunshine reggae, still got the 7mm suit out. It's pretty cold out there still. It's about 11 degrees in the water. 3mm gloves, 5mm booties, divers, polo sub, as usual. I don't hold high hopes for the visibility, but hopefully some sea bass are around. To my surprise, the visibility was actually pretty good. I soon spotted the spider crab, but I knew that it wasn't going to go anywhere, so I thought I'd better have a look for some fish before I pick this thing up. The one time I don't bring my catch bag. Really quiet on the fish front, haven't seen many fish at all. Heap of big wrasse, but no silver fish. A couple little pollock, I've seen 3 little school-sized bass, that's it. But tell you what, the spider crabs are out in force today. This male crab only had 1 claw, presumably from fighting a rival. Throughout spring in the UK, spider crabs come out of the depths up to the shallows to breed and molt. You can see that they gather in large numbers all up and down the coast, and they are accessible to divers of all levels. These were only in about 5 or 6 meters. The females tend to have a much larger head than the males, as well as smaller claws. They are quite easy to get a hold of, and I have since learned if you turn them upside down, they kind of go limp. This guy weighed in at 1.7 kilos, my personal best spider crab. I wasn't actually expecting to get any crustaceans today, so I didn't bring the catch bag, so I've had to tie them up with my float line here, but oh, some beauty spider crabs. Good looking fellas, got enough for a nice feed, so might look for some fish and head back in. Sneaking my way through the rocks, Suspetto style. I've been really trying to work on that lately, slowing myself down, really concentrating on my dives, and I snuck up and this beautiful sea bass was just looking straight at me. I thought I was going to wait for it to turn, but nah, I couldn't wait. Turned tiny little bit, and I just pulled the trigger and lights out. It's a beautiful school fish. It's 480 mil, so well above legal size here. Beautiful fish, really happy with that. Wishing I had a catch bag right now. I don't recommend bringing in spider crabs like that. It's like carrying a sea anchor behind you. They are so heavy, and it creates so much drag behind your float. Don't do it. Get a catch bag or a float that you can stick them on top. First bass of the season. Pretty stoked on that, really good eating size, that one. I'm going to cook this one whole in a salt bake one afternoon for sure. And a couple really nice sized
spider crabs. These are going to make an amazing spaghetti, so pretty stoked on these. They're the biggest ones I've ever got. Really nice, thick claws, as you can see there. They're gonna have heaps of meat in them. They're males, you can tell they're males by their smaller little bit of the bottom there. The females have a big round one, the males are thin like that. Mostly all crabs are like that, so great to take some big males before they go back down into the depths. We always want to get ice on as quick as possible with any seafood. What I'm going to cook with these things is a spider crab linguine. Now, I tried to cook this with a small spider crab a couple weeks ago, and it was just a bit of a pain because I left the meat inside the shell and it was just too painful to get out while I made the pasta. What they normally do in restaurants is they will take the meat out and then mix that through the pasta. So what I'm going to do with these guys is I'm going to boil them, then take off the legs and claws, get all the meat out, then make a delicious pasta tomorrow night. Whether you are boiling crabs, prawns, lobsters, or crayfish, any crustacean in water, there are two things that are very important. Number one, salt the water, salt it so it tastes like the water that you caught it out of. And the other thing is to make sure that it's a proper rolling boil before you drop the crab or any crustacean inside it. As I mentioned before, this is a male spider crab. Quickest way to dispatch this is just simply flick its tail up here and straight down here with the knife, and that's it. You can see, legs droopy, that thing's dead, ready for the pot. Now, the only way that this thing's actually going to fit in this pot is head down like this, and you coil it up like that. Handy to have some tongs here to get it all covered like that. And then we leave that for about 15 minutes because it's a pretty big crab, and then we'll take it out, cool it, and do the others. I only start that timing once the pot has reached a rolling boil again. Now that our crab's done, just gonna take it out. You can see it's turned that lovely red color as if it wasn't red enough already, and then straight into the sink with some ice water to stop the cooking process. Now that it's cooled down, we want to remove the legs, and this joint here has a lot of meat in it, so if you give it a little bit of a pry like that with a knife or something, you can get a lot of that meat there that's connected to the knuckle, and that's really good. So we'll take all the legs off like that. You can see on this part here where I've taken the legs out, you can actually see there's a little bit of meat left in those sockets, so you can open this up and pick that out if you so desire. This is quite a labor-intensive process, boiling the crabs one at a time because my pot's not big enough to do more than that. These are all the legs and claws that we've collected. Tomorrow, going to pick these out, get all the meat out, make that linguine, but for now it's 25 to midnight, so I'll see you tomorrow. Have a look at how thick that shell is there. That is absolutely crazy thick. Don't worry, that's an old crappy knife that I use for things like this. The claws are where you'll find the most meat out of a spider crab. This linguine meal is extremely simple. All it requires is linguine into the pot of boiling water. Cook that first. In the pan here, I have garlic and some chili flakes with olive oil. Bring that to the heat after about 2 minutes. Add some tomatoes. Then once the linguine is done, drain that, keep some of the juice from the pasta, add the crab, mix that all through, all together with some parsley. Done. This is exactly what we're looking for with the tomatoes, them to sort of soften up, reduce, and make a nice paste like this. I've drained the linguine, kept some of the sauce. These tomatoes have reduced down perfectly like this. Time to add the crab. I've used about half the meat for this recipe. So it doesn't take much because this crab meat's actually cooked from yesterday when we boiled it, so we're just trying to heat it back up at the moment. Some kosher salt. parsley. Save a teeny bit for the garnish. This is the final linguine here, a little bit of parsley on the top to garnish. I doubt you'll find any restaurants in the world that use quite as much crab meat in their pasta dishes, but let's give it a taste. Obviously a lot of work to make a spider crab pasta, but tell you what, it's probably gonna taste pretty good. I hope so after all that effort. Oh man, it's like sweet pasta from all that crab meat. It is bloody sensational. I would highly recommend it. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this, give it a thumbs up. It actually makes a difference. Subscribe if you aren't already, and I will see you on the next one. Happy Friday. I am really on my last legs with these spider crabs. Get it? Last legs? Last legs? Bad joke.